got power. He's an amazing defender. They want a Gold Glove. Changeup is the signature pitch, the one that gives hitters fits off of a 95-mile-an-hour fastball. Here it comes from Buto. And a fly ball carved out to left field. Well, your Abreu's there. All the way in the sixth. The thing about this offense and about this game, have been easy outs. There hasn't been anything that's even close. Just weak ground balls or pop-ups, which tells you that pitching is doing a good job changing speeds and changing location. Hardest hit ball of the game was the very first pitch where Bobby Witt just got under it a little bit and fly to center.
Can you guys hear? Stream ended. We're back. Are we back?
Will Vest, the Detroit Tigers, will be making his first appearance.
Hello, El Magusi. We should be back online. I'm looking at the...
Venezuela was playing against Italy where they were trailing 2-0, worked their way back into the game, did their damage.
It says everything is cooking live. Maybe I'll stop this. I'm watching the WBC Classic. Sound is good? Okay, all right. Well, we're waiting for our co-host to join. I think today it'd probably just be Sean, maybe Jerry. I think Jerry's going to be busy, but we'll see. We might be able to get an appearance. And then... let me see. I'll wait until Sean shows up before I finish or jump onto the Jon Stewart sketch. Meanwhile, let's see who we got in chat. Jamie Odell, yo. Got Mr. Joshua. How's Mr. Joshua doing? How's Cool Hand Luke doing? You guys staying cool down in the OC? Man, it's hot today in LA. We got El Magusi in chat. I don't know if we have anybody in the YouTubes, but pop out the YouTube's chat. But we are live on the YouTube. Was interesting note. Courtney is in chat. Good to see Courtney. Don't worry about it, Courtney. We'll try to make it a short stream today. I'm gonna text everybody with a revised schedule on the future streams. I've been giving a little bit of thought about what we're going to be doing moving forward. So certainly want to be respectful of everyone's time and commitment, and also make sure that when we do jump on here, we're jumping on and it's everyone's having fun. Who else? Okay, hold on a sec. I do need to kind of update our stream a little bit. So especially the window, how everybody, how the main window. We got the old Sketch Fighter icons up for now. We will see moving forward. Miss you too. Hope you're doing good. What was I going to cover today? Initially, I don't know if you guys have been following any of the news in terms of comics. You can check the Discord. I know your Jimbo's been very diligent on keeping the Discord up and running. There's a lot of info and news articles on there relating to comics. And then I think in another week or so, we're going to move. We're going to do a couple tutorial streams, talking to a couple people to see, working on a schedule to see when they can have some guest artists jump on live with us. If you have any suggestions on who you'd like to, or what kind of artists you would like to see jump on, that would be helpful. And then we can see what we can do. Sounds like we got somebody on chat. Who is this? Hello? Do we have somebody in the Discord? Mr. Chen? I can't hear Sean. If you can hear me, I can't hear you. Might need to restart. I think Sean, you might want to, if you don't want to get a new computer, maybe get like a 2019 27-inch iMac. I don't think they make 27 inches anymore. Hello? I'm hearing somebody now.
I said, can you text me at Did you get a response?
Somebody's voice is coming through.
Please.
Hello? Well, wait to see we get some more people on. I think it is Sean. Or does Sean still have some family stuff? You can see I'm in the middle of trying to finish this page. I cannot disclose what this page is. Mr. Chen? All right. Well, I guess we'll wait until he gets his. But chat audio is good, video is good. Today we're going to wrap up the Jon Stewart drawing. I was wondering if we should do a series where we should draw all the Green Lanterns, one Green Lantern a week, but that's too many. That's one. There's like 1,000 something Green Lanterns, right? I forgot how many. And that's just like too much. But we could draw like, I guess the popular ones. There's at least how many Earth Green Lanterns are there? There's 5 or 6. Jon Stewart, Hal Jordan, not including the old Gold Key. There's Guy Gardner, Kyle Rayner. Do we count the cat ones as Earth? This is a new new character. Well, not necessarily a new character, but a new outfit. As a comic book artist, you have to, every now and then you get an opportunity to design some outfits. Certainly you never know how long they're going to last. K-pop junkie, good to see you. Sometimes one or two runs in an issue in a series, and then but then also other artists that come by, they kind of start putting their own version. And working for Marvel DC, I don't own these characters, so at some point you just gotta give it up to other people to see how their interpretations are. And some artists some artists stick to the original. I mean, you create a character sheet, and then some artists just kind of come in and do whatever the hell they want. And that can be frustrating, but at the same time, ultimately you understand that I don't own these characters. So, what can we do? Is Mr. Chen on? Sean? This thing is still on mute. So I'm assuming he's got some family stuff right now. Maybe Jerry is out with Raquel the Rat Lady. We haven't heard any updates on Raquel the Rat Lady. She used to be quite a weekly kind of update segment. I don't know if Jamie Odell, if you're in New York, if you had a chance to take a hike up and down the West Side Promenade, or what is that called? The West Side Highway, or Upper West Side Park. I guess next time if I go stay at Jerry's place, I should just go and try to catch a glimpse, and ultimately maybe try to get a picture. This is an old character's new design. And then again, right now we're still in the stages of kind of figuring out where this stream is going to go. So if you guys have ideas on what you'd like to see, what you'd like to hear, by all means. We're at 225, a 224 episode. Actually, we're probably around like 228 or 230. Maybe a little bit more. But 225, we're halfway there to 500. I don't know if we're ever going to get to 500. That would be quite a feat. We're 6 years in. We're 5 years in. How does that work? And here, I guess I gotta try to figure out switch it back. Yeah, I'm talking to a couple artists right now. It's working out the schedule or availability. See who can jump on. You know, if it works with them. And if there's anyone in particular you'd like to see if we can try to get, you know, we can certainly ask if we have any connections with. But we've had a lot of guests on in the early days, not so much in the last year or so. I think the last guest we had on was Mike Troy, and that was a very last second thing. Mike had I think he had like a little bit of a controversial thing that week. I'm curious how this new design, how easy or difficult it might be to draw moving forward. I just designed this character's outfit the other day. Designing it took probably like a couple of hours, and you know, sketching and just going back and forth. But then I had to stop at some point and just settle, where, you know, basically be comfortable with a particular direction and then clean it up. So I'm not getting paid to design, and I got to actually draw the book. So that's 2 hours that I should be drawing the book. That's some of the issues that the comic book artist has to go through. Being able to have enough time to come up with something cool, but also there's only a certain number of hours in the day you can spend designing, or without doing the work. We have Nanman here. Good to see Nanman here. I think Nanman is part of K-pop's stream, if I'm mistaken. Good to see Nanman here. I'm wondering, is anybody watching the World Baseball Classic? Venezuela versus the U.S. for the championship tonight. And we might No Toad. Is that an iPad or you're working on? Yes, this is an iPad I'm working on, drawing in Procreate. I'm using, what brush am I using? I'm using the standard brush. The update recently with the Procreate library has this comics brush that I've been using. I was using Clayton Henry's brush for the longest time, and I like it too. But this one gives me a little bit. Has a little bit of like a bevel to it, so I can get a thicker line if I hold on to the pencil at an angle, versus if I get a thinner line. All right. I think her leg might be too long. There's a lot of lines. There's a lot of ribbing. This clothing has a lot of this design clothing has a lot of what are they called? Ribs. The one question I do have here in terms of the design is right here on the leg. It's been a while, yes. Naman, hope everything's good with you. I'm not sure what to do. Traditionally, she doesn't have a skirt or a dress that kind of goes all the way down. This character, you typically see she does have kind of leg boots, thigh-high boots. You know, if it was, I don't know. Any the women in the chat, any well, I guess guys too, if you have a thought, but any women in the chat want to chime in on would this be something that you would wear? I want it to be like a little bit. I mean, she's still like a superhero kind of. But you know, again, she's more in the magic realm. So I'm not sure if I like. I cut and paste. See, she does have like an overall coat, but it's sleeveless. But I'm not sure what to do with the legs. You know, if we cover it with like here and show a little bit of the legs. You know, the thing is, like, again, in comics, designing an outfit that when they're fighting or they're running or they're doing something, you want to be able to, I guess, be able to have all the limbs move around. It's much easier to just draw the skirt. But I'm also thinking, you know, if she is fighting someone and she's just kind of all in this robe, it'd be kind of boring. You know, without the actual luxury of motion, movement. She's got legs. And sometimes designing is just, just sketching and seeing how it looks. What if she had like hot pants? It's kind of weird. Take this leg. The cool thing about digital is that I get to at least maybe cut and paste, so I don't have to, I can save it on a separate layer. So if I don't like something and I erase a lot, I don't have to completely lose exactly what I had before. Kevin P. West, good to see Kevin P. West. Hydrate, okay. Thank you. We still have the channel poops. Got some water and some coffee. She has like an asymmetrical design up top, which kind of shows a little bit of her I would say torment. But then the rest is like very flowing. And the lines are supposed to be, I'm envisioning when she is moving around and fighting or flying, that these lines will create like a really nice visual dynamic. You know, can be very graphic. Oh, Kevin, thank you. Yeah, Dave Finch is back streaming. He's streaming on Monday nights. I saw that he was drawing K-pop Demon Hunters last night. I didn't watch it exactly, but how did it go? I'm curious to see his interpretation of the K-pop Demon Hunters. Let's see. I mean, the other. The cool thing about Procreate is you get this tool that you can draw these straight lines by holding down. And or circles. See, like that's how it would look. You know, the foot popping through at the bottom. I mean, it's easy. But maybe it is moving this. I'm going to cut and paste it. It's on a separate layer. You know, this piece right here, this torso piece, could be a little higher. Although I think my preference for like women's fashion is that the waistline should either be very high or very low. And if it's too middle, I think it's too boring. I have not tried Clip Art Studio yet. I've been thinking about it, but because I'm kind of late with my deadlines, I don't want to risk trying a new program in the middle of a project. I think if I had more time, I would. So if we were to kind of sketch her figure independently of the outfit. This color, red on blue, is very weird. The black is a little bit easier on the eyes. That was. Let's try another color. Let me try the yellow. Well, the thing with I mean the issue with one thing that I really don't like about there's only maybe like two things about Procreate that I really don't like. One is the main thing is the resizing. When you resize in Procreate, it blurs it. Even like a slight adjustment. Now sometimes like if it's just a line, so the thing with what I found with Procreate is that because you're drawing on a blank layer, when you're drawing line art, it's just the black line. So black line and emptiness. So it's not black over white or blue over white or whatever it is. And then when you go and resize that, it's very easy. Even like a slight readjustment, it blurs it. Now, if you flatten that black line with a white background or another color background, whatever it is, and then you resize it, it doesn't have that blurriness as much. It still blurs, but not like if you do like a minor adjustment. So you have to kind of flatten it with another layer, meaning that it's not just a black line art. It's black line art on top of like a white base or like a paper base, which is like what drawing on like the baseline drawing on Photoshop usually is, like drawing on a white layer. So if Clip Studio solves that, then that's great. And then the only other thing is that there's one brush in Photoshop that I really like that I haven't been able to mimic in Procreate with the settings, and I haven't had enough time to really kind of figure it out in the settings. So there are some things that I do then migrate over into Photoshop to color. And that's really just mainly like coloring. So yeah, but the blurring definitely in Procreate is very frustrating. And then also, I guess maybe if there's a third thing, there's like no lasso tool. There's a workaround the lasso tool in Procreate. There's like a different thing. I don't really know how to explain it because I don't really use it that much in terms of that lassoing effect. It's more of the mask. I'm using like a mask process. And now with like this current book that I'm working on, now they've requested that I send in, like, draw the line art, because what I was doing was I was draw the line art and flatten it with a white layer, but just on the shape of the figures, leaving the background still empty. And then when I adjust the face or figures and a little bit, I can get by with a little bit of adjustment. But now that they're requesting that I don't flatten it with a white base layer, even for the figures, and it's just a pure line art layer, that's where it gets frustrating to make adjustments. So, I mean, if Clip Studio Art solves that, it might be worth the investment to. And it's, how much is it? It's not even that much money, right? It's a Clip Studio Art is what, like $30. I mean, I say that because I used to buy Photoshop, and Photoshop used to be like, I think it was like $800 for Photoshop. I mean, now Photoshop is subscription based. So yeah, so this is, see, I would need to move, even moving the character. Let's say if I were to grab this and I'm going to move the character up. So I get a little bit more clearance. Sometimes that, even that would just blur it ever so slightly. And looking at this drawing, like, I can tell her left eye is a little bit off from the right eye, but I didn't see that earlier. Her left eye is a little bit bigger than the right eye, or her right eye is bigger than the left eye. So if I were to go in and readjust, there, it's already blurred. You can see the blurring. Now this is still for me, the rough pencil, the pencil stage. Yeah, but it's already blurred. But if I were to ink that, if I were to have moved that, resize that as an ink, I would have to almost redraw it, which adds more time to it. Whereas Photoshop, for all of its other faults, you know, the resizing in Photoshop is actually fairly good. But I mean, if anybody has a way around this, let me know. Procreate is subscription based now? No, Photoshop was subscription based. I mean, there have been other things, and again, I have not taken any lessons. I have not hardly watched any tutorials in Procreate. I'm sure there's probably a good amount of the program that I'm not even using to its potential. It's like you know, you get like a Porsche or a Lamborghini, and you're just, or a Ferrari, and all you're doing is just driving it to get groceries. You know, it's, I mean, the same thing was happening in Photoshop. But yeah, what are we gonna do with this leg thing here? And I'm wondering if I should go to figure drawing class tomorrow. Now, here I need to get a little bit more. The poses. Oh shit! What am I doing? Well, a good thing about Procreate 2 is you have, as long as you don't switch out of the, if you don't like close out this and then go to another file, the amount of memory that it keeps is a lot. So I can kind of like scroll back, you know, erase back, because it remembers all of your strokes. I think I want to get a little bit of little bit more kind of hip. I think we lost Sean. Maybe, Sean, you need to, like, at some point, if you haven't updated your OS, you're going to be aged out of the Discord. So you might, I mean, you could, what I would recommend is logging on through your phone. Oh, there you go. Courtney did just recommend that. You know, log on. You have to download the Discord app on your phone. I mean, it's actually, you should do it now anyways, because you don't really need the computer. You should download the Discord app on your phone, log in from your phone, and it's audio. Since you're not doing any video, Sean. So you really don't need the iMac. What I'm trying to get at here is maybe a little bit more hip action. This is our character. And then her left leg is going to come out. But still, what am I gonna do? I did just get a new screen protector. I installed it over the weekend. So we've heard. I should actually look at some Oscar pictures. I'm sure the Oscars were last night. There's a lot of actors that had maybe like a leg cut out from their dress. So I think this should either be. All right, let me jump to the Green Lantern, and then get out of here. I actually got another commission I forgot to finish. So, we're okay with this one. Yo Jimbo, good to see you, Jimbo. Yes, what did you guys think of the Oscars? I think I've seen out of the Oscar movies, I did see Sinners. I thought it was okay. Um, I don't really. I don't think it was a bad movie at all. I don't know if it was like the greatest movie I've ever seen. Um, I did see Bugovia. What was that one? The Bugova. Yeah, Sean. I mean, you can get a free phone. I don't know what uh, mobile service you're with. I know if you're with AT&T, which is for me, been using AT&T. If you've been with them for X number of years, I mean, they're all every company is always offering the other person a customer to switch over from another service. So if you were to switch over, you could find one from T-Mobile or Verizon that might offer you a free phone, a new phone. Um, or if I know AT&T has that. I don't know if the other ones do, but AT&T has a loyalty program or department. It's not publicized. So what you would need to do is you need to call them, call the AT&T, whatever that number is, 611 or something, and then specifically ask to speak with the loyalty department, and then tell them that, well, you've been with the company, you're thinking about switching. Do they have any um, incentives to offer you to stay? And you can get like $500 off or more of an iPhone. You might even be able to get an iPhone 15 or 16 for next to nothing. Maybe not the 17 because that's the newest one, but you might be able to get a 15 or 16 for free. The caveat is then you have to sign another contract to stay with them for a year or two. But if you're not changing companies, you might as well. And what they do is they take that amount and they disperse that for whatever that phone would cost over the course of the year or two. So if you were to leave at any time sooner than that, you're not going to get the full amount back. But it's a way. If you're not changing phone plans, you can get a new phone. So you can definitely get like what's an SE? What is that? What number is that? Yeah. So if you switch for companies, you can get a free new phone. Or if you want to stay at the company, they might offer you some kind of loyalty incentive program. It's a separate, thing. It's not on the website. You have to call in and ask to speak with the loyalty department, and they'll patch you to someone. Um, and then the other thing is, I was thinking about switching over to Noble Mobile, which is the Andrew Yang thing, where if you use less than X number of gigabytes per month, I think you get 20. If you don't use all 20, whatever you don't use, you don't actually pay for, or they reinvest that amount per month into a dividend that you get money back. You're not going to get rich off of it, but it's also better than nothing. And again, some of these companies will offer you a free phone. So the SE is like what, the 10? Or is it less than the 10? But you should be able to download the Discord app on your phone and use it on the phone to call in. I did hear audio for a little bit. I think it was your kid was in the background. And then it cut off. Somehow this head looks a little kind of big. His arm is. I think this is too muscular for Jon Stewart. I'm inclined to almost start all over again. Ask them if they like comics, Sean. That's what Kevin P. West says. Or go into the local mobile store. If they're a fan of Iron Man, they can probably hook you up with something. The people in the shop actually have a lot of insider, discounts that they can give you. So, all right, Courtney, thank you for jumping on chat. Hope you're feeling good. Take care of yourself. See you next time. And at the end of the day, Sean, if you're using the phone for work, which is what this is, it is a write-off. All right, let me try to ink this. I've not drawn on paper for quite a while. And I will tell you, if there's any kind of advocacy against drawing on the iPad, I think that at some point, drawing on the iPad is very efficient. If you're traveling and you don't want to bring all this gear, your Jumbo has the right idea. Use your phone to take photos. I mean, you use your phone, Sean. I mean, it's work. What was I saying? Oh, yeah. So, but I do think that somehow I felt like while the iPad certainly makes things a little bit more efficient, it also, and this is also, it's not scientific, I do think that it degrades your skills a little bit. And I haven't figured out exactly why. I don't know if it's because when you're drawing on paper, you have to be a little bit more cautious, especially when you're inking. And that cautiousness, I think maybe something with the brain allows you to focus a little bit more and choose the right line and not make the same mistakes or make easy mistakes. Whereas when you're drawing on an iPad or digitally, because you have Command Z and you can instantly undo, it somehow just allows you to draw freer. But at the same time, then when you go back and forth, it makes you a little bit less focused. Careless, Nanman. I don't know if careless is the right word. I know I said that, but I'm not sure if it's the right word. But it's more carefree. Because the thinking is, if I draw it, you're sketching, right? And there is a piece of like, there is a piece of drawing that sometimes is, sketchiness is good, but I think like drawing for comics or drawing for production or maybe drawing for I want to say like mainstream. Because if you're doing your own comic, it doesn't matter, right? It's your own style. But I do think that there's a particular standard. Although sometimes you can argue that that threshold is going away a little bit. Yeah, so I mean, digital is just like right now. I already kind of have a couple. I would have probably redrawn this nose a couple of times, and so that's the other thing too. Is that if I was drawing digital, I would have redrawn the nose a few times. Um, and it could just be me. It could also just be I'm getting old or older. Well, non-man, yeah. So analog drawing or traditional drawing requires a little bit more focus and attention. And so I think that sharpness over spread out over a period of time might create a little bit of looseness. So whereas if I'm drawing traditionally for extended periods of time, it's like a muscle, right? Your brain is like a muscle. You're training, you're doing something, and that focus then gets honed. It's not like you flip a switch. But if I'm spending most of the time drawing digitally, then that muscle doesn't get used. And when I switch back to drawing traditionally, there is a period of rust. Now, that's coming from someone that used to draw traditionally 100% of the time, moving to digital. And then I'm curious, I kind of hypothesize a little bit about this, where you see some artists that are now mostly traditional, I mean digital artists that started out as digital artists, and when you look at some of their traditional work, it's not as strong. And I'm curious, like, how much of that component is translatable. Like right now, would have like this mouth. Go back in there and clean up the line on the mouth a little bit. And here, because the pen that I'm using is 005, I'm drawing like extra lines. So make sure if you guys are watching this on Twitch, I would appreciate if you guys also go to YouTube and hit the subscribe button on YouTube and or the like, thumbs up. I'm trying to get that Uh, the YouTube numbers up a little bit. Thank you, your Jimbo. Calculator would make me crunch numbers less, memorize multiplication up to 9. I didn't forget, but recalling would be slower. Yeah, I mean, I think Naman, we used to all had to memorize the multiplication tables when we were younger, up through 9. Like basically, we wrote memory, right? Repeat verbally out. I know in Taiwan we had these plastic boards that they would use to draw. I mean, not draw, but write notes. You put it in the notebook underneath the paper so that you have a hard surface, so that you could write stuff on. But then on that was printed the multiplication tables. 1 times 1 is 1, 1 times 2 is 2, 1 times 3 is 3, etc., etc. And we have to memorize that. So now it just comes up, but I haven't figured out what to do here. And the pencils. So now that I'm in the ink process, so I look at this eye. His left eye is higher than the right eye. Now that I look at it, I didn't see that a lot of times because the paper's been tilted to the side. So when it's tilted to the side, it looks a little bit more even. But now that I have it looking at it dead on for me, I'm like, oh, this eye is a little bit, oof. And it is a little scary. How do I leave this up for thank you, Butthead. Butthead's controlling the light. Here I'm working on. Oh, speaking of programs, there is another program I did download and buy called Feather 3D. I haven't gotten a chance to use it, but I think it would be very interesting and applicable to comics artists. It's basically a drawing 3D program from the demos that I've seen, where you draw out. I still have to learn. I watched the tutorial, but I was watching it while I was working, so I really couldn't get it to understand. But it seems like you can draw out buildings and spaces and build it 3D very quickly. And then once it's built out with textures and drawings, then you can move the camera around and get different angles. And I think from a comics artist perspective, if you just spent a little bit of time first building out a headquarters or a set, basically building out the set first, then you can basically reuse that for different camera angles, and it becomes background for you. I mean, you still have to add in extra details, but the basic shapes and components are there. So I'm curious. I just need to have time to kind of play with it. And here I'm trying to figure out where the lighting is coming from, and I'm assuming it's going to come from his ring. Maybe I should just ink this. But in other news, there was an announcement this week or late last week, that I'm going to be going to the Basel Fantasy Basel, a comic book convention in Switzerland, and this is in May. So, if there's anybody watching that's in Europe and you want to come out in May, we'd love to see you there in Basel, Switzerland. I feel like his arm needs to be longer. Anybody have the score of the World Baseball Classic? So I have kind of like the directional lines figured out for how I want to, if I were to get into inking it. Some of it is understanding the shapes. Going in there right now. This is very scary for me. There's no holding back. I'm hoping this will come out okay. We will know once I'm done. Anybody? Actually, Mr. Joshua, did you hear about the Fan Expo Anaheim convention? Somebody sent me. Apparently, there's a new Fan Expo Anaheim. I think it's in June. I'm curious because there's already a show. In a couple weeks, WonderCon in Anaheim, I think in the same convention center. And now there's going to be a second one in the summer 1 month before San Diego. So I'm wondering who they have planned to go, but how well that's going to do. So I got the base. Kind of the base shadow down. And then of course this area becomes, the shoulder and the neck area is a different material, so I'm thinking I'm gonna have to go with a different kind of rendering. Oftentimes it's metallic, so and how you render textures can give you a little bit of distinction. You don't want to render metallic the same as organic, or even you know. So what my brain is going through right now is I'm trying to understand where the anatomy, what are different parts that are popping out. I'm trying to envision and look at as if this was a 3D form, where the muscles are, musculature, what sticks out. Bonds Inc., good to see you. And then I'm kind of applying almost a generic style of inking metallic. There's well, at least generic for me, usually it's a thick line or a couple thick lines, depending on where the light source. Again, it's going to come from the ring. Jon Stewart does not have gloves. So there's a exposed skin on the hand, and then so the rendering on the hand is going to match the rendering on the face. Or like Chrome, yes. Golf Boy Sunday, good to see you. Greetings from Seoul. Wow. So what is it, 11 o'clock out in Seoul? Congratulations, welcome. Good to see you back on the in chat. Hope you're having fun in Seoul. What's the occasion? Actually, Golf Boy Sunday, you have a package sitting like in my hallway. I was gonna mail it like a year ago, and then when they had the Canadian mail strike, the day I took it to the, and it's been sitting in the hallway since in a tube. Text me later when you get back. I won't mail it out now. 12, maybe 12, yeah. Well, the daylight savings time has, but you would know, you know. I don't want to get too dark right away. It's going to be harder to see. Like I made a mistake here. This part underneath the lip, there should be some white because it's going to hit his lip. His lips protrude out a little bit more, so this part should hit the. I'm gonna have to go in there later with the Posca white pen and so today I guess is an exercise in hatching or in textures. I didn't really intend on this, but this is where we are. And the forehead too, you're going to think that the forehead is going to have some kind of bulbous so this part is probably going to be a little bit rounder. You know, how would I render that? And also, I would highly recommend, if you're going to do any kind of hatching, it should follow in some way the shape of the muscle or the direction of the light, or counter to. Because we're doing a lot of hatching, you just don't want it to be straight. I think that's when it gets a little stiff, or it can get stiff if it's just straight. I go in with thank you, Golf Boy. What part of Seoul are you staying? Are you staying with family or are you staying at a hotel? Last time I was there, I stayed at the COEX. What was the hotel in the COEX? And then it's next to the mall in Gangnam. And there was also a casino. I found like on the last day there was a casino attached to the mall. I don't remember if it was attached to the hotel, but I mean it was in the same complex, right? So, no, I had to walk outside of the hotel to get to the casino, but it was attached to some structure, but the casino was only for foreigners. So if you're like a local Korean, you couldn't go in, so you had to bring your passport and played a little blackjack in the casino. It's kind of fun. And then I did go to the Gwangjang market where I had the raw octopus, live octopus, and raw meat, raw beef, or raw horse. Was it horse? No, raw beef. Raw horse was in Montreal. Horse tartare. So there is a